In this video, I'm going to be talking about the top 10 things to avoid when trying to lose weight. In fact, what I'm actually going to be doing is I'm going to be looking at Greg Doucette's video on this and critiquing this a little bit, giving you some feedback on my thoughts about this. Greg Doucette, or Doucette, I think it's Doucette. He's awesome. I love this guy. He's one of my favorite fitness channels lately on YouTube. You should go and subscribe to him, by the way. I disagree with some of it. I mean, part of it is because he's not a natural athlete and he's really a bodybuilding competitor, and he still has a lot of that mindset, and he does a lot of things that way, which works. It absolutely works. But there's some other things that I've been doing that are different, that will work a little bit differently depending on what your goals are. I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, how to get the physique you want, how to get the girls you want, and how to go from the victim mindset to the bulldog mindset. If that sounds like something you're all about, click that subscribe button and join us on this quest. All right, guys. So also, if you haven't already, take the Bulldog quiz to see what your Bulldog score is. It'd be really interesting to find that information out and know if you're a Bulldog or not. And yeah, so let's get into this video here. Okay, so let's actually jump to his tips here because he's got them. So the first one,
meals. Don't be like, oh, I have to lose weight, so I know what I'll do. I'll skip breakfast and lunch, and I'll only eat at supper time. I'm only gonna eat before bed. I'm only gonna eat in the morning and at night. Or I'll just skip this meal because then I can eat more calories later. No, it doesn't work like that. If you skip meals, your body goes into like starvation mode, and it sends signals you're extra hungry. And then you end up binging and cheating, and then you overconsume food at night. You eventually cave, crack down, and overconsume more calories than if you had actually stuck to the plan.
Okay, I actually agree and disagree with him here. So it's kind of interesting, right? So, I mean, obviously I'm fasting, right? I'm a big faster. I eat one meal a day. I do OMAD in general. For the last 3 weeks, I've only eaten on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and usually one meal, right? Usually I've waited till today. I actually ate most of the day, but most Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. I've been doing this for 3 weeks. Has that worked? Yeah, I've gotten fucking ripped. I've lost a lot of weight. I've kept a lot of muscle, right? So the reason why I would disagree with him is because if you fast, right, what he's not incorporating here into what he's saying is that your HGH levels spike. He's right, because most people, when they do intermittent fasting and they fast for like 12 hours, not enough. It needs to be 20 hours, 22 hours, really needs to be 40 hours, right? That's what I'm doing now. And after a 40-hour fast or so, your HGH levels will spike, and it will preserve your muscle, okay? And you will lose a lot of fat. If you do save your calories, you're going to eat, like, again, if you're eating one meal a day, it's going to be effective for most people, okay? For most people, eating one meal a day or one meal every other day is going to be extremely effective for losing fat. And you can keep it up, and you can hold on to it, and you can do it. You know, obviously there's no such thing as, quote, starvation mode, but to your brain there is, right? He's right. Like, if you don't eat for a long time, you're gonna binge eat, right? If you're doing that, if you're just skipping like breakfast or lunch, that's the problem with just skipping breakfast, is you're gonna eat way more for lunch and dinner. Just stick to the plan. I agree with him in that respect. But even if you do one meal a day, you should still have a plan, and you should still stick with it. The fasting is effective if you actually fast long enough, right? So as a bodybuilder, you know, if you're concerned about the maximum protein synthesis, which I think he mentions here, then obviously you need to eat protein more times per day in order to maximize that protein synthesis. But I would argue that having the high enough HGH levels to spare muscle is actually just as good for if you already have muscle, if you're, you know, when you're really on a deep cut. Okay.
Number 2, avoiding artificial sweeteners. So, I mean, I could have done a whole video on this. Oh, the studies show that people that eat artificial sweeteners are fatter. People who eat artificial sweeteners are already fatter in the first place, and they're trying to lose weight.
Now, I have to 100% agree with him on this one. It doesn't make sense to avoid artificial sweeteners, not the small amounts that you're going to have, right? I get this question all the time, and it's like, if you're fasting, can you have like an artificial sweetener in your coffee, or can you have a Diet Coke? Yes, you can have a fucking Diet Coke. Now, if you drink 20 of them in a day when you're fasting, Is that a good idea? Probably not. But in general, if you can eat some diet stuff, drink some Diet Cokes, use some artificial sweeteners to get through a hard, faster diet, absolutely. Like, trying to avoid it is stupid because it'll hurt your compliance. Anything that hurts your compliance is just stupid. If you lose weight too fast on a normal diet, eating 3 meals a day or 4 or 5 meals a day, you're absolutely going to lose a lot of muscle. And I've done it before. I've dropped down from 240 pounds to 190 pounds, kept thinking I was going to get ripped, and I didn't get ripped. I mean, I lost a lot of fat, but I lost a ton of muscle. But at the same time, since the last 5 years, I've been eating OMAD, 1 meal a day, okay? And when I've cut on OMAD, when I've cut doing fasting cuts, I have kept almost all the muscle. Don't eat a very, very low calorie diet and eat frequently. If you're going to eat a low calorie diet, eat big meals, right? As long as you do that, you're not going to suffer those effects and you're going to keep the muscle because the HGH will be high. The fasting actually preserves muscle. I know it seems hard to believe, but it's true.
Oh, I don't want to weight myself. I don't want to know because, oh my God, heaven forbid if the weight went up, then blah, blah, blah. What if it went down 5 pounds in a day? Well, maybe you're not eating enough. How do you get any kind of feedback if you don't?
And I agree with him here, for sure, absolutely. You have to be stepping on the scale every day. You can use a tool like Trend Weight. I mean, you can look at the trend. You should not be looking at the day-to-day. You should be looking at the trend over a week to see what the cumulative average is, so you know if you're going up or down. And it is important. You can't stick your head in the sand.
Doing HIIT, high-intensity interval training.
Now, again, I have to agree with him 100% on this. What he basically says here is that, one, HIIT training is not as effective as steady-state cardio, okay? And the reason why is because you can't actually do HIIT long enough to actually burn enough calories, even with the afterburn, right? You can do steady-state cardio for an hour a day, 2 hours a day. I mean, I do 10 to 20-mile runs where I'm running anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. I cannot do HIIT for anywhere near the length of time required to burn that many calories as I can doing steady state cardio. So I agree with him on that. And also, you're not actually fucking doing HIIT. You guys that think you're doing HIIT, you're wrong. HIIT is going all out, like 95% effort, okay? And doing intervals of that. That is what HIIT is. Otherwise, you're not actually getting the HIIT effect.
Saying, oh, I can eat chicken, rice, and broccoli, chicken, tilapia, and some fish, and cutting out all sweets, all junk, all yummy, delicious foods in your whole life. That doesn't work long term. It might work short term. If you have extreme discipline, you might be able to follow that diet for a little while. I could probably do it, but I'm very, very motivated to reach my goals. But even I wouldn't want to do it long term. Why do that when you can have balance? Balance is not all.
No, I kind of agree with him here too. I mean, there's some cutting out of stuff that makes sense, right? Sometimes to do a keto diet and whatnot. And if you cut out certain things, obviously you can get some benefits. But he's actually got a real, like, if you've seen his diet plan, he basically eats in the morning French toast, right? And he's got a special version of it that is super low calorie with egg whites. And then he eats, like, for lunch, these big wraps, okay? And I think for dinner, he eats, like, another big wrap. And then he eats this really big protein shake that's super fluffy because he adds, like, different protein to it. And his whole plan, his whole strategy is to just have very high fiber shit that is very, not very calorie dense, which makes a lot of sense.
Empty stomach cardio. It has no, I don't understand how this myth's still going on. It has no extra benefit to losing fat or burning calories.
He's right, it has no extra benefit in burning calories, but it does have an extra benefit in burning fat. If you run and do cardio and especially if you eat keto and you basically eat or run fasted, what will happen is that your body, especially, and you keep your heart rate low enough, okay, your body will become more fat adapted and will burn fat at higher and higher heart rates or higher exertion levels. Anytime that you're running or doing cardio, you're basically tapping into two energy systems, right? Again, there's the aerobic and the anaerobic, and then there's the fat burning and the carbohydrate burning, right? Where you're burning glycogen or you're burning fat. If you do walking, right, very low intensity, you're going to be burning a majority fat. But as you start to up that heart rate and you start running faster, you're going to start to have a higher partition of glucose that you're burning the glycogen basically from your liver and from your muscles. And so if you run fasted, train fasted, you can actually become more fat adapted so that you can burn more higher percentage of fat. Again, mostly what he's saying is true. Calorie is calorie. It doesn't really matter whether you know, if you're going to eat the same amount of calories, it doesn't really matter when you run. But what you burn is where I would question here.
Number 8, not lifting weights at all, like zero weights, not even doing it, or changing how you train, like, oh, I have to burn fat, I have to rest 30 seconds between sets, I need to do sets of 30 now, I need to...
If you want to keep muscle, and muscle will burn more fat and burn more calories, you absolutely have to keep lifting, and lifting heavy, okay? Every cut that I've done that's been successful, I've lifted heavy. Keeping the strength up means keeping the muscle up, which is critical. Otherwise, you're going to be losing pounds, but they're going to be the wrong kind of pounds. So definitely agree there. And not high reps, not high reps.
Guess what? When you're sleeping, you can't be eating. It even rhymes. It's easy to remember. If you're asleep, you can't eat. If you're up till 4 in the morning and you're only sleeping 3 or 4 hours a day, you're going to have way more chance.
HGH is primary released while you're sleeping. Okay, so if you don't sleep, you're not going to get that. There's actually a really good book you guys should read. It's called Why We Sleep. It will scare you into sleeping 8 hours a day as much as you can, because you will basically die if you don't. Like, it is fatal. It is the worst thing that you can do to not sleep, okay? But definitely for fat loss. There, in that book, there's plenty of studies that show that the higher percentage of the weight you lose will be muscle if you don't sleep enough, which is very true. And he's right. You can't eat while you're sleeping. So 100% true there.
Oh, I'm going on a diet. I know I'm going to take this and this and this and 17 of those. And I'm starting day 1. I have 50 pounds to lose. And I'm going to take everything on day 1 and boom. And then...
Yep, I agree with him. In fact, I don't even use fat burners anymore. I think they're so negligible, the effect, that it's better to just fast. It's such a small difference in the calories. And there's a penalty for using them because it does affect you and it affects your sleep. So I don't even use them at all. And he's probably talking about some illegal ones, obviously, DNP and stuff like that. Definitely, it's not worth the risk. Just fucking, just take a little bit more time and do things right. And what he's saying primarily is, like, if you start using them at the beginning, what are you going to use when you really need it at the end? And I agree with that. So yeah, guys, take the Bulldog quiz. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, smash the like button for the algorithm, and I will see you next time. Take care.